Hello. Good evening. How are you?
How's it going?
I'm well. How are you? Oh, you're not hearing me? Oops. I am here. I am here. Davey has disappeared. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there. Lovely to see so many folk joining us tonight already. Can you please share Tartan Tunes Scottish Sessions? This is going to be a wonderful show tonight. We've got two genuine, great characters and musicians on body tonight. We've got Mr. Charlie Kirkpatrick on accordion, and we have Donald Black, the famous harmonica player. So it's going to be a great wee show. Really, really looking forward to it. And hello. Oh, beam me up. Beam me up, Scotty, yeah.
Happened there?
I don't know. It's not to do with the rise in fuel costs or something, is it? We're not going to get cut in and out all the time or something like that.
Have you seen the price of electric? Jeez, oh.
Jesus. Anyway, there we go. I was just telling the folk we've got two absolutely brilliant guests tonight.
We do. I recommend
evening.
if anyone has issues with bladder weakness, maybe to go to the toilet because they'll probably end up wetting themselves, these boys. Hilarious.
Yeah, good. And the other thing is, please share it about, folks, for us. Keep sharing Tartan Tunes about. We love it and get folk to like it. And fire in your comments as well. David, you want me to do comments while you were sorting that other thing? Are you
that's done.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Well done. Good evening, Kathleen. There we go. There's folk. There's Judith Whitehead as well. Mr. Robert Whitehead's wife.
Mr. Nicholson.
Mr. Nicholson in Orkney. There's people all over the world. Remember, let us know where you are, folks, because we love to know where you are in the world. It's always great to Lochmaven.
Yep.
Lochmaven. There's Kenny McKenzie. Evening. It's all going good, Kenneth. So far, so good. There's Katie. Hi, Katie the Piper. Right, so before we bring a guest on, we always play a wee set of tunes, and then I want to speak about the auction tunes. But here's a wee set I rattled up the other week anyway, but we couldn't get it on last week, but it's on this week. It's for the Circassian Circle, and what I've done is stuck some films of, this isn't pictures of my new house. This is actually Jarlshof, which is a Viking.
So, you've got a new house?
No, this isn't my new house. That's what I'm saying.
So what is your new house?
No, I haven't got a new house. This is an old house. Anyway. This is a Stone Age to Viking settlement down at the airport. So here's some. I have some.
Why is there a Stone Age settlement at an airport?
Well, they didn't realise it was there when they built the airport, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
The runway went out a bit, I think. Nobody thought of that in these days. Yeah. So anyway, here it is, down at somewhere, and 3 tunes. The first one's Circassian Circle, and then 2 of mine. The first one's JT's Rail, and the next one's called the Librarian. Bray as in Bray the place, because the librarian at the school in Bray School was retiring. So it's spelt wrong. It looks librarian. Okay.
See these puns and tune names that you do?
Yeah.
Was that before I met you?
Probably. Why?
Yeah, because I would have talked you out of those. Anyway.
Here's a state. Here we go. Tap your feet, folk, and share a book. Maybe that is my news.
I was going to say, you need a decent joiner to make that watertight.
Yeah, might need some insulation.
Insulation?
Small part of insulation. If you're ever up in Shetland, folks, go and have a look at it. Oh, it's beautiful down there. That's great fun. And the only thing is you can lose the kids easy. That's the only thing. It's difficult to find them again sometimes. Listen, I can't believe the amount of... Hi, David. There's David Carmichael. I can't believe the amount of folk watching tonight. This is fantastic. This is great. Absolutely fantastic figures. Thank you very much, folks. Keep sharing them about. That's how popular our guests are tonight. That's good. Right. I was going to say, on the tune, how are we getting on? Last week, we started a tune auction, folks, because we're raising money for Nine Wells Hospital in Dundee, where Davies wee girl went to the... What unit is it?
Neonatal.
It went out of my head altogether. The neonatal. And we put out 7 tunes. There's 4 pipe tunes and 3 kind of dance bandy tunes. And we've got some amazing bids on them already, actually. Mm-hmm. So it's fantastic. So where's the... now, was that played in the Victoria accordion? Alan was asking that. No, it wasn't actually, Alan. That was the Bugari. It was played on that last set, I think.
Bugari.
Yeah, Bugari. Yeah. So we've got great bids coming on for that. Yes. The best way to see that is to go onto the page, isn't it? Still
go to the page, yeah. There's the videos on the page. We're sharing it regularly. And then the information at the bottom saying if you want to leave your bid, contact us via email address or message to the Facebook page and tell us your bid and which tune you want to bid on. Bidding closes on the 30th of April 2022. That's the last Saturday of the month. And we had decided quite early on that if you bid and you are outbid, we will let you know.
Because it's a silent auction.
Allowing you to up your bid or change to another tune, for example, rather than losing it completely. So, it's been going well so far, but it's still open for anyone. So if you go to the Facebook page, you'll see the video there and have a listen.
And one other thing I would just like to mention, we lost a dear friend this past week, Derek Hamilton. Derek was one of the masterminds behind Radio GH. Phenomenal musician and a great character, absolutely great character. So our thoughts are with all his family and everybody that knew him. In fact, our first guest tonight played with him for nearly over 40 years. And a couple of the videos tonight, we've got Derek in them. So that's actually nice because it's a nice way to remember him playing and doing what he did.
Yeah, nice tribute.
So thoughts are with everybody there, Derek's family. Anyhow, right. Have you done anything else exciting? No.
No.
I played at a wedding last night, a hamefaring, but not quite. Do you know what a hamefaring is? No. I
do, but tell the audience because they might not know.
A hamefaring, folks, is when Shetland people get married. They might get married away from Shetland and then go and have a night back home, and it's like called a hamefaring. Or they might have been married. In this case, we were booked to play for them in lockdown. They didn't get their wedding, but they still got married, so they had a hamefaring. So that's what hamefaring is. Right, enough of that. We're going to bring on our first guest tonight, who is in Giffnock, and it's Mr. Charlie Kirkpatrick. Hello, Charlie.
By the wonders of modern science. Hello, good evening.
How are you doing? Yeah, science. It's wonderful. We didn't have this in the old days when we went bookings, eh?
No.
2 tin cans.
Steam driven.
There's a funny thing. I was speaking to somebody about it your night before. Remember when we used to take bookings on in the Middle East cities and things, but we still got there somehow. We still managed to get there because nowadays the sat nav takes you straight to the door, supposedly, or something like that.
But Peter, Charlie probably confirmed this. Did most of your bookings not either be if you go up and turn left at the chip shop, or if you go right and turn off at the pub? That's how it used to work, isn't it? Yeah,
that's it.
Listen, I know a musician of my acquaintance, and despite the sat-nav, we had a gig in the middle of Glasgow one night, and miraculously he ended up going round Blythewood Square 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
He claims it was a total mistake.
On that fact, I was playing with Ian McPhail one night in Glasgow, and I didn't know where Blythewood Square was. And I actually stopped innocently to ask where a hotel was, and was offered all sorts of other. So I got that one. And I got home, and my dad was a special constable, and my dad said, "You stupid boy, you could have moved." Don't stop. And went on it again. So anyway, that was it. Listen, how's things going with you? Going good?
Yes, I'm doing fine. Obviously, a great big shock on Tuesday with the loss of Derek. But life goes on, and Derek would have wanted that as well. So we'll just
absolutely.
Keep going.
He was an absolute character, wasn't he? He was a real.
Oh, for heaven's sake! We could. I'll talk all week about the. Well, I obviously travelled many miles, the glens and bains of Scotland with him, and over the years, and great. I put in a message to his son there, that Derek and I travelled many miles on the road, but also in music as well. So as we were going along and things like that. So good.
Well, let's have a wee tune to begin with to get us going. This is a wee set of Pike marches, and Derek's on the piano playing with you here, which is fantastic.
All right.
And Gordon Young on the drums, and it's up in Lewis and Harris, but I think it is Lewis and Harris Club, isn't it? Up on Lewis.
Oh, yes, it is. It was taken. We were guest artists at the club up there. So.
Yeah, brilliant. And this is was it a set of 6/8? Sorry, did I say 4/4?
No, it's a Pike marches.
You just
Pike
said
marches. I got away with it. I'm learning. I just don't commit to too much. But anyway, but here we are. Here's a wee set of Pike marches with Charlie in the band.
Here we go.
Please put your hands together for Charlie Kirkpatrick and his crew.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Couple of cracking tunes there, haven't we?
Oh,
yeah.
I always reckon that The Hills of Tinroan, which was composed by Ian Holmes, is one of the best ever. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, and we come across that quite a lot now as well. And not necessarily pipers that have composed a cracking pipe tune, you know, which is good.
And of course, the John Mackenzie's Farewell to Strathglass. I mean, that's a classic as well, an old tune. Yeah. And what I like about it is there's hardly any notes in it, you know. Well, no, I mean, obviously easier to play if you like, but to me, you get more lift. You know, the first two bars of that just swings, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, there we go, folks. If you've got any comments or questions for Charlie, keep them coming in. Remember, we're out live on quite a few Facebooks. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Twitter. Yep. So, Charlie, take us right back to the beginning. Let's go right back to the beginning. You're an Argyllshire man, but were you born in Glasgow?
No, it's asking quite a lot of a man of my age to go back to the beginning, Peter. But I would say, well, no, I was born in Greenock, actually.
Right.
And that's how I always say at the gigs. You know, I usually say, you know, I'm a supporter of Greenock Morton, so therefore you'll know how I'm frightened of big crowds. But no, my father was in the Merchant Navy, sailing out of Greenock, and my mother came from Greenock. But shortly, well, I was born in Greenock, and my brother was born in Greenock, and then after that, the family went back to Iona, where my father was from. So I was brought up in Iona. So,
okay. So, musical family in Iona, or?
No, not really. Although, while delving into the family tree, my great grandfather was the first non-Gaelic speaking teacher in Iona school, and in the records there is the fact that the locals greatly enjoyed the musical evenings that he put on, and I think he played a bit of the fiddle or something like that, you know. So, and I think I've heard people say that the music of things miss a generation, if you like, and you know, so it came to me, you know.
So when you what age were you when you started thinking about accordion then?
Well, a cousin of mine in Iona got a present of a just 10-key wee melodeon, and I started to visit the house, and I managed to knock a tune out of it with the help of a Gaelic songbook with sol-fa in it and things like that. So the first, I think the first tune that I mastered was In Praise of Isla, and the second one, Colin's Cattle, which Croch Allen, which is Colin's Cattle, which is a pipe. Davey, you'll know that. It's a pipe.
Yeah, cracking tune.
And then,
Colin's Cattle's one.
Sorry.
Colin's Cattle's one of these kind of tunes as well. There's not a huge amount of notes in it. It's just an attractive tune, big strong melody.
That's right. But that time I was in Oban High School. I had to go for secondary education, and there was a fellow there in the same class as me, Ian Morrison from Dervig and Mull, and he was a very musical guy, and he taught me quite a lot of tunes and things like that, and he played the piano as well. So, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
And it's always been the button box that you played then, so it was a melodeon.
Aye.
Because for other folks at home, Charlie plays a Shan Marino now, which is that a British chromatic? Is that what they call it?
Yes. Designed by Jimmy Shand, obviously.
Yeah.
The Rolls Royce of button accordions.
Yep.
So,
out and in's a different note, isn't it?
Out and in's a different note. But by using the 3 rows, you can hopefully get it smoother, you know, rather than out and in too much.
It's quite an amazing. I've tried a couple of times and I can make nothing of it at all. I find it amazing that people can.
You need to have brains, Peter, for that. Derek Hamilton always used to say it was a typewriter.
Yeah. Well, anyway, right. So Iona, Gaelic Waltzes. That's good. Let's have a wee listen to you. Next track we've got you here. This is a set of Gaelic Waltzes that you played for the Musselburgh Festival this year.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you can remember what they were called or not. Or will I ask you at the end and then you can write them down?
Ask me at the end.
That's
I think it was Leaving the Boat at Perfee was the first one.
Right. Here is Charlie playing a set of Gaelic Waltzes on the Shan Marino. And it's a black Shan Marino, isn't it? So that's quite unusual too. There's not that many about.
No, and it's number 21 actually. So
really? It's a gold. Yeah. So here we go. A wee set of Gaelic Waltzes. Lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. I love you can just tell that it's a West Coast person playing West Coast tunes. You got that tempo that a couple of folk mentioned there, and the mechanics of the accordion seem to really suit the Gaelic Waltzes, don't they, and the Pike music. I think they do for some reason.
Possibly. Well, my sort of mantra for playing Gaelic Waltzes is that I play the Gaelic Waltz the way I've heard people singing it.
Yeah.
I don't play the Gaelic Waltz the way I've heard other accordionists playing it. I play the way that I've heard people singing it. So, you know, because sometimes the tune doesn't sort of bend the way that you would think, you know.
Yeah. So when you were growing up learning to play the box, you were speaking Gaelic as a first language as well then, were you, at that time?
No, not really. But my father had Gaelic, but at that time, Gaelic was sort of frowned upon, and it wasn't sort of cool, if you like, to play it and to speak it rather. And when I went to Oban High School, I actually took French as a language rather than Gaelic. But I've obviously had an interest in Gaelic, and in fact, over the last couple of years, I go to Gaelic classes and learn Gaelic.
Yeah. Jordan Lopp's been sending me phrases every so often to learn, which is quite nice.
She does a lot of good work for Gaelic.
She sent me one, I love accordion. I can't remember.
Hold on. You've done that one before. What's a new one?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. It's a hard thing to speak.
I was actually in Oban High School with her father.
All right. Okay. Right. So when you went to Oban then, did you have to stay out in residential
Yes. I left for Oban when I was 11, I suppose, and I stayed in a hostel, but there was limited accommodation in the hostel. And the likes of when my brother eventually, 2 years later, went to Oban, he had to stay in Dix. So, so it was a great...
The hostel would have been a fine, quiet place. There wouldn't have been much.
A few stories about that, but it was a great meeting place. Well, I mean, there was guys from Isla, from Tyree, from Call, even further down the road in Lochgilphead and Tarbert and these places. Oban was a sort of senior secondary for that, you know.
Wow. It's amazing when you think it now. It's still a very good school there as well. Big pipe band they've got there at the Oban and all that. It's really good.
Lauren McDougall actually teaches the folk band there as well now.
Oh,
is that right? Yeah. Excellent. No,
Angus McCall has done a great job there as well. You know.
Brilliant job. Brilliant.
Yeah. What a player he is as well.
Brilliant. Yes. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. So after school and things, you headed down. Did you join the police?
Yes. 8th of February 1965, imprinted in my brain, the City of Glasgow Police.
Right. What was what appealed to, what took you towards the police? Did you just fancy it?
Well, I did, I suppose, and Glasgow appealed to me as well. I suppose at that time, Glasgow was a sort of mecca for a lot of all Highlanders, you know, coming down to Glasgow. And it was just, as I say, I joined in 1965. So,
because the next track we're going to hear just in a wee while it is at the Lewis and Harris Association in Glasgow. But there was quite a few associations, wasn't there, for different island groups?
Yes, at the time when I came to Glasgow first, there would be about a dozen different Gaelic associations. And also including the Highlanders Institute, which was a great place for dancing and ceilidh, you know. Sadly, just because of the way of the world in modern times, there's not so many associations now because people don't come down to Glasgow to the same extent as they used to.
Did you get quite a bit of work in your young day managing to get a tune playing at some of these things as well then?
At the ceilidh we used to, and then I sort of graduated to playing at dances and stuff like that as well.
But there was quite a lot of bands in Glasgow that were playing for these associations as well at that time as well, was there? Or?
There would be the one that sticks out is my ancient trusted Ruthie crony, John Carmichael, who just around the corner from me here. He had a band, but his sort of hero was who was a very, very popular dance band leader in the Glasgow area in the 60s, you know, the sort of 60s into the 70s, you know.
Who was that? Sorry, who was that? I missed that. That it blocked on me.
Andy McCall was his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a great band. Very, very popular. Very popular band to dance to.
Right.
Maybe not technically brilliant, but blinking good to dance to. Which,
Well, I don't know if you agree, but I think sometimes technically brilliant doesn't always cut it in dance music. I'm afraid it's just the way it is.
I think that gets proved time and time and time again.
Yeah. It's and some of the young bands, and I'm not just saying this because I can't play the stuff that they play either, but some of the young bands that are playing very, very technical stuff, and I take my hat off to them. They're amazing musicians, but I'm not sure that it just suits the idiom of dancing that we need it for, you know, a lot of the stuff, you know. You're looking for that swingy tune with a good melody that gets folks' feet tapping, you know. It's just...
Goes back to what I said earlier on about the 6/8 march. Hardly any notes in it, you know.
Here's Mark saying he can remember you playing in a club played with his police uniform.
Funnily enough, Mark Crawford, we were one night at the Windygates Club, and I always indulge in a bit of banter with the crowd and things like this. And someone put a police bonnet on or something that had been lying out the back, and there was a spider in it, and the spider came out on the floor down at my leg, and of course there was a lot of, you know, I was holding the bottom of my leg trying to stop this spider going up my leg, you know, and then so the crack was that the spider eventually came out the other leg. So people still talk about that in Fife or at Windygates anyway, you know. So it was a lot of good crack, you know, good banter.
Well, we're going to have a couple of 2/4 marches for you this time. This is at the Lewis and Harris Association.
Right.
I think we're starting with the Conundrum, aren't we?
I think so. Aye.
Yep. So let's go for a couple of nice, and I think pipe music in a 3-row box, you can't beat it. That's definite.
That's it.
No, well, it's good of you to say that. So
I think that's the instrument to play the pipe tunes on. So here's a couple of 2/4s for Charlie, folks.
some people know it as a conundrum. The Conundrum and Lady Liverpack. Thank you.
Two of my favourite 2/4s. One of my favourite 2/4s is Lady Lever Park, definitely. I think it's a great tune.
Well, that set actually is off an old 78 of Bobby McLeod, and both tunes are composed by Peter R. McLeod, Partick in Glasgow, and the title of the C78 was McLeod Plays McLeod. So.
Right.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's very
Hold on. I've got an idea.
What?
Peter, you should release an album of pipe music all by yourself and call it Wood Plays Wood.
Would you do that?
No.
Anyway,
no. Anyway, accordion and fiddle clubs. You must have been one busy chap when you were in the police and working and things to fit on all these clubs that you managed to fit in, because I think you must have played in about every accordion and fiddle club in Scotland, I think.
I think I have, probably from Shetland, obviously, and down Gretna, and Hexham Tyndale Club down there, and all the ones in between. So,
was there any particulars you really liked going to?
Oh well, the risk of falling out with folk. No, well, I treat it as a great honour to be asked to be a guest, and I would hope that people go out the door with a smile on their face, and because I would hope that they've been entertained, you know. Yeah. So.
You see what Alistair McHarg's saying there? The Glasgow police sought Highland men who could wrestle with cows.
Is that the two-legged ones? but that's us getting back to Blythswood Square again.
Yeah.
It's a family show.
But the other thing you do, you're also been involved with the National Accordion and Fiddle Clubs, the association, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you do a lot for the luncheon, which is fairly soon, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's coming up in June. So
is it June?
Yeah. A number of years ago, I was asked to join the committee, and well, my view is that the accordion and fiddle clubs have been good to me. So I felt that I should maybe try and put something back. And so I've been in the committee for, I don't know, maybe for 8-10 years now or something like that. Yeah. And I think about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, well, Jim Balneves used to organise the luncheon, and then he retired and Jackie MacDonald did it, and then she decided to call it a day. And I'm looking round at the committee meeting as it was on, and I thought, I'm going to get landed with this blinking thing. So. Anyhow, yes, so I organise it, and this year it's on the 26th of June in Invercast Hotel, and each year we have a number of guests of honour, and this year the 3 guests of honour are Mabel Gray from Alloa, piano player with the late Bill Black and numerous other bands. John Sinton, bass player from Dunblane, who is a brilliant bass player and has played with many broadcasts. And also the one and only Cecil from Shetland. So
Cecil.
So that's
and Cecil was really the reason I moved to Shetland, to be honest. I came up to help Foostra out to begin with.
All right.
And then ended up staying 26 years ago now. So there's, it's great to see Cecil.
Was Derek Henry not in the same category as that as well? Did he not go up?
Yeah, he arrived just about a year before me, I think, or 2 years before me.
Right.
And then when I moved up, I joined the Foostra, and I was with Foostra for 14 years, so it was quite well. And so we had some good fun over the years, but it's great to see Cecil getting it. He'll relish that. He'll be fair chuffed.
Well, he's done a lot for the music over the years. You know.
Yes. Now, one of your
as of all the guests of honours over the years.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. it's great to see something that's, and it's nice to see people getting it when they're still with us as well. I like to see that. That's nice.
Well, the strange thing about that is, and it relates back to Derek Hamilton, because a number of years ago, I don't know, 30 years ago or something like that, at an AGM, Derek suggested, and Jimmy Blue was the chairman at the time, and he suggested, because Will Starr had died, and everyone was saying, we should need to do something as a memorial for Will Starr. So Derek piped up and he said, listen, would it not be an idea that instead of remembering folk when they're no longer with us, we try to remember and honour folk when they're still with us? So that was carried by the association, and I think Jimmy Shand was the first recipient of the guest of honour, and then it's just kept going since then.
I think it's a great idea, because it's nice people can enjoy the award and the recognition themselves as well. It's nice. It's a good way to do it.
Well, that's one of the things actually since I took over that gives me great pleasure. When you and well, I've had the honour myself a number of years ago, and I was very pleased to get it. But when you after folk have been nominated for it and selected, and you phone them up, and I mean they're all absolutely delighted to get it. So that really makes me quite proud.
Great. We're going to hear a couple of 6/8 marches for you now.
Right.
We were just speaking about that earlier before we even come on here. 6/8s. You love 6/8s, don't you? Yeah. Is that definitely your favourite, would you say?
I'm a 6/8 fanatic. And in fact, just a wee quick diversion if we'll get time, but if you ever go into the website and the World Championships, the Pipe Band Championships, the parade at the end of the bands, the sort of top 4 bands come on there first, right? And so they play. So I was watching it one night, and the first band played through 3 6/8 marches. And then they just stopped like that, and immediately the drums come in with the second band, and they played right along the forum. So the whole thing on the website is, I don't know, about 30 6/8 marches, just one after the other. And I thought I was in heaven.
It's good when you hear the big centre bands playing it as well, though, these big grade 1 bands.
Well, that's right. And all the lesser bands were marching on, to it's really good. Really, really effective.
Well, here for you from the 6/8 fanatic folk is a couple of 6/8s. Fantastic.
I looked up
Rob's Wedding was one of the first 6/8 marches I ever learnt the pipes, I think.
Aye, great tune now.
Yeah.
Composed by a fellow John Kerr, I think.
Yeah. But you'll have to get David to send you some of his 6/8s, Charlie. He's composed some good ones.
Oh, well, I look forward to it. You've done not too badly yourself.
I try occasionally. But no, so that's fantastic. Now, your family, of course, Neil, your son, he plays.
He does. He's up in Isla, and I don't know if he might even be listening just now, although he hasn't posted anything. But he's up there, and his wife Linda, and my wee granddaughter Iona. So
he has a guest house up there, doesn't he?
Yes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but
yeah, sure. We're another BBC.
The Troutfly Guest House in Port Ellen, and
that's right.
It gets rave reviews. It's doing a good job there. And
I've seen quite a bit online pictures, and it looks fantastic. Actually, it looks really good.
And you might even get a wee tune from him as well. You know. So,
yeah.
And of course, breakfast.
But he ended up playing the piano box.
Yes. Aye.
Yeah.
Well, yes, he did. He went to the Jimmy Blair School of Music. He was taught by Lola Blair and Jimmy Blair. And then when they sadly died, by that time he had taken the higher music and the accordion was his. So we went to Wilson Wood for the lessons there. Mm-hmm.
Very good, Yeah. Wilson Wood produced an incredible amount of champion accordion players.
He did.
Very, very.
Aye. Well, Jennifer Forrest, or Jennifer Cruikshanks, she went there. But I think the star in his school was a young guy, Ian Skinner.
Yeah, remember Ian Skinner?
You might remember, brilliant.
The girl, Diane Armstrong, was another lass that played.
There was a whole lot of them. There was a dozen really good
very, very good players. So what's the plans for the future then? Have we got some bookings coming back in? Or?
They're coming back in, yes. And well, I've actually, even since about October, quite a few accordion clubs I've done. In fact, I was in Crieff the other night. And then I'm going down to Carlisle in about 2 or 3 weeks. Do that. And when in fact, going back to when we started the conversation last Saturday night, I did a Heimfern, although we don't call it that here, but it was a girl from Giffnock, and she got married out in Australia in October, and of course nobody could go out there. In fact, friends of hers from Perth in Australia couldn't even go to the wedding in Brisbane, I think it was. So, because of the lockdown and there. So that was them first time coming home. So I went and played that. And I think it was our 30th birthday as well at the same time.
Brilliant. Well, Charlie, I can't believe we're through an hour here speaking away already. It's been fantastic having you on and catching up with you again.
Good to see you, Peter.
Looking forward to seeing you back up on Shetland. Hopefully it's going to go ahead this year again, I hope.
Well, sadly, I wouldn't manage up this year. A bit of a pity, but my wife has a significant birthday on the 6th of October. So I, at the risk of ending up in the divorce courts, I had to give it a miss. After.
Just Charlie, just tell you, you're taking her away from a romantic weekend.
Yeah.
Shetland.
She's a wee bit wider than that, Davy.
Well, listen, thanks so much for being up at time though and coming on this Sunday night for us to listen with it. It's fantastic the amount of people that's watching this show tonight. And
yes,
really
I've seen a lot of the comments going through there, and I thank each and every one of them for the nice comments and the sort of clapping hands and things like this. And hopefully we'll see some of them in the not too distant future.
We're going back to Lewis and Harris to finish off here with the trio that we started with yourself, Derek, and Gordon, and I think it's 4/4s we're having this time, isn't it?
I think it's Sweetmead of Glendaruel, Greenwood side, and Bonnie Ann.
So 2/4. I get my. It's funny, isn't it, that we play some 2/4s like 4/4s, but we play some 2/4s like 2/4s.
Speak for yourself.
I know what I mean. Charlie, thanks very much. You take care.
No, at all. It's been a great pleasure, guys. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, Charlie.
Great having you on. Thanks, Charlie. Take care.
Thank you, man.
Fantastic stuff there, eh? Good patrons. Finishing off with a 6-8 McDonald's away to the wars. Great tune.
Was he fighting the Burger King, was he?
Fighting the Burger King. Maybe. With his tinny Campbell's condensed soup.
As long as it wasn't Campbell's condensed milk.
Yeah, they all became big in the food business, didn't they?
Desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Yeah, well, there you go. That was fantastic, Owen Charlie. Great. Really nice to have him on. And I've known him for so many years now, and he usually MCs sometimes for the big grand dance up at Shetland. That's why I was wondering if he was coming up, and they take it right through the night, maybe 12 bands on. You know,
I suppose somebody of that calibre who used to be a copper in Glasgow, I'm sure he'll be able to handle a crowd like that.
No bother.
No
problem at all.
Yeah.
Play sit down! Just sit down. Anyway, right, listen. Remember, folks, we've got our tune auction on the go. Go on to our Facebook page.
Yep.
7 tunes up for grabs. You get to name them. You get a copy of the music. You get a copy of the
music
of the tune on a CD. You'll get the recording, and you get to name it. And all the funds for this, it's a silent auction. All the money's going towards the neonatal department at Nine Wells Hospital.
Yes, that's correct.
So that'd be fantastic. Right, our next guest, I've had some great fun with this man today, setting us all up anyway, so I'm fairly looking forward to this. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. This man is one of the finest harmonica players in this traditional idiom that I think I've ever heard. Just absolutely fantastic. And his reputation goes in before him, of course.
Precedes him.
But precedes. That's a good word, Davey. That's a good word. So I think without anything else to do, we're going to bring this gentleman on. So he's in Renfrew tonight, and here is Mr. Donald Black. Hello, Donald.
Hello.
How are you getting on?
I'm fine, thanks. I've been thoroughly enjoying things so far.
That's good.
Could I just mention one thing while I remember, please? I've got a terrible memory. It was lovely listening to my favourite accordion. I play the Muthi, but my intentions in younger days was to the 3-row chromatic.
Right.
Huh?
And it's my favourite. It is so suited to Scottish West Coast music.
Yes, very much.
I agree.
In particular, I loved that Charlie was playing that set of Gaelic Waltzes. It just set it up for me. Just lovely.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. The harmonica, the mechanics of it's the same idea, really, isn't it?
Well, Peter, the name harmonica, I think, comes from Germany, and there is a distinction between the mouth organ and the button and the accordion. Sorry, in German language, one is the Mundharmonika, and the accordion to them is the harmonica.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think in America it had been more loosely used, the word, and it spread, harmonica, but it's Mundharmonika, M-U-N-D, mouth harmonica.
Mouth harmonica,
That's the distinction. They're both the same principle, free reed instruments playing similar sounds.
Right. Right. Well, I'll tell you, what I think we should do here is we have got some cracking videos of you playing tonight. And I think what we should do is have a set of tunes, because our audience out there will be waiting with bated breath saying, now what's this man Black going to do with this harmonica here? But I think we'll just show them. I think that's the best thing. This first set we're going to do was at Pike Live in Glasgow in 2018. Mm-hmm. And you're accompanied on this one by that young genius box player, cello player, piano player, Martin Skeen.
Martin Skeen.
Yeah.
I cannot describe just how much respect both Donnie, a guitarist, and myself have of Martin and other young colleagues of his. He is quite astounding. He's in the very, very, very top bracket. And he's only...
He's very good. And I enjoyed it.
And a gentleman.
And he done a Take the Floor broadcast there about 2 or 3 weeks ago as well. His first, and it was cracking.
Great. Beautiful.
Great.
Very much so.
Yeah. Donald, what are we having here? Can you remember? We're starting off with the Balmoral Highlanders, aren't we?
I think it is. The Balmoral Highlanders played too fast. Faster. And it ends up in the stratosphere somewhere.
Brilliant. Let's go for it. You're going to enjoy this, folks. This is fantastic.
Here we go.
Fantastic, Donald. Ugh. If that didn't make anybody smile or tap their feet, there's something wrong.
Oh, dear me. Hold on, 2 seconds. That's 9.
There we go. Donald, that was fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And you can tell you just love doing that.
I love the music. The music of my forefathers. It's in my blood. I can't help it. I'm from Argyllshire. Lot of Gaelic and pipe music came from there and beyond. And I can't help it. I just love it.
Yeah. And I noticed in the wee bits of notes you sent me and things that you got your first mouth organ when you were 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an early start.
A very early start. And I was living, we were in Birkhalden. I'm the eldest of 4, and I was the only one at the time. And an aunt of mine who lived in now Dunbeg, but it was called Dunstaffnage at the time, near Dunstaffnage Castle, just outside Oban. And she sent me this mouth organ for my 4th birthday. And I remember it was pink in colour. I just stared at it for days. I loved it, the look of it. I wasn't sure what to do with it, but that was it. You know?
Yeah. There was a wee question there, Donald. Someday Alan Monroe was asking there, is it Honor mouth organs you use?
I use Honor, yes, although I've had a couple of run-ins with Honor, actually. They're not what they're always cracked up to be, particularly on the mouth organ side. But they're now Chinese-owned anyway, so the whole thing's changed. Yeah. But yes, the mouth organs that were available then and right up to present time are Honor. And I've got a very good rapport with the Sutherland Trading Company down in Caerphilly in Wales. And they were Honor UK. A guy there called Steve Proctor, just fantastic to deal with. So I get my mouth organs from the Honor ones.
I used to have the music shop in Lerwick in Shetland at one point in time, and it was Sutherland I dealt with to get stuff up.
Was it? Yeah. Excellent. Lovely people. Yeah.
So when did you start getting tunes at the mouth organ then, when you were quite young?
To a degree, only to a degree. I felt intuitively, now on reflection, that I had some music in me, but I didn't know what the hell to do with it. Yeah. I left school at 15, failed my 11 plus, didn't know what I wanted to do with life, and I just went from job to job as a labourer. And in 1972, I was living in a wee village called Kippen in Stirlingshire. My parents had shifted from Argyll down to Tullyallen in Carden, and I worked in Tullyallen Police College. I dug out the skid pad by hand. And then we shifted to Kippen, and I just wasn't. I felt within myself, surely I can do better than labouring. So I took the chance of the £10 assisted passage with a cousin of mine and went out to Australia. And I was working out back and cattle stations, picking fruit, you name it.
Wow. And
decided to come back. This far too strong family ties. I didn't want to stay out in Australia. And I came back. And I decided to go for education. So I went to night school, Langside College, and I did a degree in economics and industrial relations at Strathclyde University.
Wow.
And I lived in the West End at the time. And the catalyst, which was the main one for drawing me to the music, was not a mouth organ player. It was the great Donald McRae, the Gaelic singer in the Park Bar.
Right.
I went back week after week after week. I didn't know a soul at first. It wasn't difficult to get to know people. And I heard the voice from 30 yards away in the middle of summer. The door was open, and I heard this incredible expression and beautiful songs. And that drew me to realize just how much I loved the music of where I came from.
Yeah.
And, pardon?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
And I met quite a few people in there, and there were two lads in particular, two Duncans. One was Duncan McKinnon, from Barra, and Duncan Campbell from Harris. And they had a wee gig on a Tuesday night, and I would go in and they would say, look, you mind if we go for a wee pint and you just play a tune? So I learned some tunes to play for fun. And Phil Cunningham walked in one night, the ace accordion player, incredible being musically. And he heard me playing and he thought it was the right hand of an accordion. And he discovered it was mouth organ. So he came back months later with John Smith from the BBC and asked me to do a spot on the Talavala programme, which was the Village Hall programme. I was shaking like a leaf.
Right.
You know, the very thought of doing something like that never, ever, ever entered my head.
Fantastic.
When I was a teenager and beyond, I would go on the bus to Stirling and I couldn't even face people in front of me. I was so nervous. And I worked in financial services for a while, had to speak to groups of people, and that brought it out in me being able to speak to people in a collectivity. From then on, I wasn't worried about speaking to people. But that's how it started, and I got the bug. I thought, well, if somebody of that caliber likes what I'm doing, I'm going to take it further. So my wife and I wrote out 500 letters and sent them, maybe naively to a large extent, all over Scotland to see if I could get a start somewhere. And I got one reply, and I'll never forget them for it. And it was in the island of Tiree, to the Faish in the island of Tiree. And I remember Anne Lange, a lovely person, she's from Tiree, and she phoned me up as well to send a letter of invitation. And I was delighted. I was going to do something with the mouth organ. And I worked at it, and it's taken me many, many places since. And I've met and played with gems of people, great people. Malcolm Jones from Rundrig, Donny McKenzie, who's now with me. He's from the island of Lewis. Donny's great. He's been with me for a long while. Marson Skeen, Ross Wilson, who's with the Tidelines, and many, many great musicians that we had a bond in common, and that was the love of the music.
Brilliant. I think we should have another wee track, Donald. Lonesome Eyes. This is one that you done with Tim Eady, isn't it?
I recorded this on one of my albums. And I also did it with Charlie McCoy from Nashville, who is the most recorded player in the world.
Yeah, he's a kind of famous player.
And he asked me, I met him, I was invited out to the States twice to play. And it was way back in 2005, in Kansas City. It was a big thing called SPA, the Society of the Preservation and Advancement of the Harmonica. And I met Charlie, and we kept in touch, and he invited me onto his 37th album, Lonesome Eyes. I couldn't believe it. This guy played with Elvis, Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, you name it. A different genre, but music.
Music.
He came onto my last album as a guest as well. He reciprocated. But they were great. And Malcolm from Runrig, a legend, you know, and the fun and the things we did together, just great crack.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate, and a lot of young ones that were great players. Ross Wilson from Tidelines. You should hear him playing Bobby McLeod's tunes on the box. Nobody knows he does it. He does it quietly. Oh, just marvelous. So I've been very, very fortunate and had nearly 30 years now of playing, and it's taken me quite a bit of places in Europe, Russia, Lithuania, and twice to the US, and many places in Britain, you know, that I would never be.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a wee listen. Let's have a listen to Lonesome Eyes, played by Donald Black. Fantastic, Donald.
Thanks, people.
So many nice comments coming on saying they really enjoyed that. I noticed Kenny McKenzie, and a big thanks to Kenny because he's helped us out there getting this off.
Yes, indeed.
Did you see his comment earlier on that he says he's glad he bets you're glad you bought that Learn How to Play the Muthi in a Day book?
Yes. And do you know why he wrote that? He owes me about £10,000. And you think I'll not ask for it back. Kenny McKenzie, an absolute gem of a guy, very, very musical, very, very good mouth organ player with a new album out at the moment.
Yes.
He's a lovely guy.
We were having a laugh, weren't we, earlier on this afternoon that Kenny was going to hit you with a bill.
He hit me with a rolling pin. That's bad enough.
Oh, fantastic. I bet you've had some funds. over the year.
Some puns.
Puns? No, he
yes,
says
60 minutes in each one.
He says you're quits after today. So he says.
I thought you said puns.
Funds. Yeah, I bet you've had some funds over the years.
Yes, indeed. You know.
Yeah.
Was there any places you liked playing? I mean, you played in Russia and things. That must have been quite an experience.
It was indeed. I think it's so sad, as we all do, what's happening over in that neck of the woods at the moment. I've been twice to Moscow, played in Lithuania, and Donnie McKenzie was with me. We played. When Gorbachev liberalised the Baltic states, Lithuania decided to go west. And what did they do? They held a country music festival. And I saw it advertised, and I contacted them. And we played in a dilapidated football stadium near Belarus, just near the border, a place that was, it housed the biggest nuclear power station in the prior Soviet Union. And the people were absolutely lovely. And it was like Cumbernauld or East Kilbride with weeds coming through the concrete, cranes just lying where they were left, and just derelict with beautiful people in them. And we played there, and I went to Glasgow University to the Slavonic Studies department to find out if I could maybe write phonetically from somebody to tell me what to say in Lithuanian when I was speaking to them. Yeah. And they just went bananas, you know. Donnie and I were put in a big limo after we come off the stage, and there were about 10 or 12 big guys, 6 foot tall, security guys, put us in the back seat together and lifted the car on their shoulders and took it out to a gate. They made a V thing, the rest made a V to keep people there. And that was them saying, thanks for speaking in Lithuanian. Wow. And there was a Russian in the audience, and he invited us out to a Celtic festival. It was St. Patrick's Day in the month of March, and that was in the year 2000. And we played out in the snow, out in the street, to young ones that were fantastic. Yeah. We then found that we could get in as tourists into the Kremlin grounds, and I took the Muthi in with me, and I played Scotland, and I've got film of this. Played Scotland Brave in the Muthi, and a guy blew a whistle, and I had to put it back in my pocket and get off my mark. And I thought, nobody's done that before in the Kremlin grounds. I couldn't do it now, you know. No.
Well, at least he blew a whistle and didn't just shoot you first.
Exactly. And then we played in a theatre after that, and we had about 700 young ones. And I've never played to an audience in the 29 years I've been doing this. I've never played to an audience that was so receptive and so, as you know, if you're playing and people are clapping, sometimes they clap out of time.
Yeah.
And it throws you off. I didn't need to worry. They were totally in time. And there were about 700 of them in this audience, and it was quite an experience. So I've got very, very fond memories of Moscow and the Russian people that I met. When you go and play music, you're going to see the best of people if they like the music. Yes. And we went back 5 years after that, and we played again there on St. Patrick's Day.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Incredible.
We're going to have a wee. We've got another wee track lined up here before we speak again. It's a wee polka.
Yeah.
You sent me through. I think this is in Germany. I think you're playing in Germany here.
It's in Germany. It's in a place called Klingenthal, which is in Saxony, and it's near the Czech border. And it was at one time the music capital of the world. They that was the first place for mouth organs were manufactured in Klingenthal, and they have a festival nearly every year. I think it's every second year now, and they invited us out, and that's where we were. And it was a lady in the audience that took it, the film on a mobile. So that's where it was.
Well, it's great because we get the atmosphere as well, and you get the atmosphere of what's going on.
A lot of atmosphere. But could I mention the tune?
Yes.
The tune, it's called, it's a polka, it's from Oban. There was a primary school there. Begins with a K. Memory problems.
All right. I'll look it up because you sent me it earlier on.
It was the great Colin Campbell who had a Highland band, and it was the last recording he ever made.
Was it the Rockfield polka?
It was Rockfield Primary School. It was, and he campaigned, amongst others, to get it into a community centre and succeeded. And he wrote this tune, and it is a beautiful thing. And poor Colin, people had to hold the strap of his box whilst they were recording it. He was recording it. 10 days later, he was dead. Wow. It was the last thing he ever recorded. And we played in Germany, and the Germans loved polkas. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful tune. So that's the history of the tune. It's from Oban.
Brilliant. It's a great tune. Looks a great atmosphere there, Donald.
I love the atmosphere, yes.
Yeah. Tell me, you were explaining a wee bit this to me earlier on, and I'd never thought about it this way, that when you were talking about the music that you are playing on the harmonica, very different from what a blues player would play.
Yes.
And you're having to learn an awful lot more than that player would have to play as well.
Well, that's a very, very pertinent point. And I wrote down, I thought I would explain this if it ever came up.
Yes.
And I wrote down in a concert, when we play, the boys and myself, we generally do about 20 sets at least. If they want an encore, there's more. So it's usually 10 in either half. And the average it averages 3 tunes per set. When you take slow airs and long sets of other stuff, it averages about 3 tunes. And we do, therefore, by definition, we do 66 tunes per concert. And there are 3 parts, an average of 3 parts per tune. So it's 66 times 3, the number of parts that have to be played in one of my concerts. It's full concert, and there's a lot of work, a lot of preparation.
There's
a lot of preparation.
But I think people do mix it up, don't they? They see somebody just sitting playing, and they think, "Oh, mouth organ, that's just the same as a blues," but it's not at all.
No,
it is very. There's a lot of denigration actually when it comes to the mouth organ, particularly if it's not blues. It's seen as, oh, we joke up the road there, he sits and shooks and blows and has a wee tune. It is the biggest selling instrument of all time. In 1987, Honor alone, never mind the Japanese, but Honor, or the Chinese at the time, they sold the first billionth mouth organ in 1987. A billion mouth organs. And all over Asia and China. I mean, and the type of mouth organ I usually play, that track there, is what they call a tremolo mouth organ. And it emulates the right hand of the accordion. It's got a similar sound. And that is what I'm trying to do, emulate generally it's the right hand. And I see myself playing the box when I play that. So
it's
I love
funny,
blues,
Funny when you said you'd like to have played the box, of course, but it's a lot easier to carry a mouth organ about than an accordion. So that's one good thing.
Yes, but you go through a fortune in stuff for your lips. The box players don't.
What about the reeds on the actual instruments? What about the reeds on the instruments? Do they last a while, or
no? They don't. And the one there, the first track, the first set you played, you might have noticed up early in the set, I switched mouth organs within one show. One of the reeds had gone on me. I could hear it. Right. It was terrible. It was getting worse. And I always have a spare ready to switch.
Right. But I mean, they're not cheap. They're not cheap either. Not cheap
at all. But that's the type of play that what we call the tremolo. And it's either single-sided, that one's single-sided, and that one's double-sided. And so you have keys that match. You've got C and G there, and that one is in the key of G only. But the reeds are wafer thin to get that very melodic sound.
Yeah.
For instance, that's I'll just play one. They're both in G. And then this one is the single-sided one, and it has a slightly thicker reed.
Right.
Now that's great for emulating the Irish two-row button box, the sound of Irish tunes. This is more akin to the piano box, particularly in Scotland. It's got that lovely sound as well. So it's horses for courses, but they don't last long. That's the thing. And these things were made on the bench. They were pulled out. I played in Mull Festival several times for fun. I used to go over and just join in and have a wee tune. And I remember standing in the pier in Oban when I came back, and my face was all blood here at the front. Didn't give a damn about the blood. Just keep playing. But it was the wood that swelled up. Ripped my face open, But the most important thing for playing the mouth organ, Peter, is this: a good psychiatrist. That's it. That's it. No,
One thing I would like to bring up for that you maybe show the folk, but you told me earlier as well you had to come up with something because sometimes things, maybe if you've eaten something like that, it might get stuck in the mouth organ.
Yes.
That's a difficult situation, isn't it?
I have to do that now because I had a chocolate biscuit before it came on. So I carry one of these with me.
Oh, There's the
And
thing.
I've seen me in playing in a concert and having to take my bag,
Get
my
the
toilet bag with me and apologise to an audience. And
Get
just
the toothbrush out. That's a toothbrush and a half. That's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
a bit of fun.
Great, but I think it's good to let the folks at home know how much work you have to put in to play Scottish music to the calibre that you're playing it.
Could I mention something, Peter, that I forgot to mention when I was talking in a chronology? My mother played the mouth organ all her life, and my father was a labourer with the Forestry Commission, and he was an ill man. He was a prisoner of war, and he very often had to be on the sick, as they say. So the bonus wasn't great, but the bonus could be earned for planting trees and whatnot. Sometimes too ill, and we couldn't afford a television. So my mother and myself would get the withy out and play a wee tune together.
Yeah.
And she did a thing with me on television. It was a BBC Calibre. She was 86 years of age, and she played her favourite 2/4 pipe march with me.
Fantastic.
On the programme. 10 minutes after that, she had forgotten she had done it. But it was still there, the music.
The music,
Played the button box, the wee button box as well.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I'm doing a class this Thursday for the charity up here. It's Alzheimer's Scotland, but the Shetland branch, and I'm leading a wee group, and it's for people to come along so it's a dementia-friendly group. And anybody that used to play an instrument's coming along, and we're going to sit and just have some tunes for an hour and see if we can get folk going. Because it's amazing how people remember music,
Well, could I just come in there with just something that triggers off in my mind? It's a nice story. In Renfrew here where I stayed, the lady across the road asked me if I would play in the church hall for, I can't remember what the group was, and I said, yes, of course I will. And I went along, and there was this lady came along, and she sat down beside me, and she had a badge with Fiona on it. And she said, can I have a tune with you? I said, of course. And I said, what do you want to play? And I thought she might say Sailing Up the Clyde or Scotland the Brave or something. 51st Highland Division. I thought, what's your second name? She said, MacLeod. That was the Pipe Major Donald MacLeod's daughter. And the two of Susan MacLeod, her sister, and Fiona, they live a few hundred yards from here.
Goodness.
And I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do this Thursday, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. It's nice to do these things. Right, we're going to Bristol this time.
Yeah.
You do get a boot. You do get a boot, don't you?
Aye, at times, but slowing down a wee bit now, but I've been fortunate in getting to a lot of lovely places. In Bristol, it's what they call, it's now called Harmonica UK, and it was then called the National Harmonica League. I was asked down there twice, once with Donny, and the second time Donny couldn't make it, and I spoke to them. They said, Tim Eadie's going to be here now. Tim Eadie, that's the guy that's playing with me. He's just a musical genius. And
yes,
played with Brendan Power, the great Brendan Power, an incredible mouth organ player and innovator. And you should hear the pair of them playing together. And we never had any chance to rehearse at all. It was straight in. That was it. And Tim just slotted in. No problem. It's just a gem, an absolute gem.
Oh yes, yeah.
So tell us, what is this set here then? We've got Callum Lamont, isn't it?
I wrote that. It's Callum Lamont. He was a very close friend of mine. He was an old man, and he had both Tyree and Skye blood. And his family lived here in Glasgow, and so did Callum. And he said to me once, could you write a wee tune for me? And they don't come, naturally, they don't come readily to hand. But this wee tune came into my head. And I lied to him. I told him a white lie. I said, I heard this on the radio. What do you think? He said, I love that. So it had passed the test. So I recorded it. And that's where it came from.
Let's have a listen. This is great. Great stuff. Magic.
Brilliant.
Absolutely magic. That's pleasant. Yeah, I've met Mr. Reedy a few times up here in Shetland as well, and he's quite a character.
Have you? He's lovely, isn't he?
Is that?
You know the big Irish band Paddy that died recently that played the Aeolian pipes. Paddy.
The Chieftains.
The Chieftains.
Yeah.
They took him in world tours with them.
Aye. Yeah. No,
hugely regarded.
Donald, you've got a number of albums out yourself, a number of CDs out now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the best place for people to go to buy your CDs? Onto your website here, I think. That's the best place to go.
Yes, if they wish, I have a stock here, I was going to reduce them, from 12 down to maybe 10. After this show, I think we'll make them 50 quid each.
Yeah, that's it. No, they're going up in value. That's the thing. Definitely.
Bad timing.
No, so there you go, folks. Okay. If you'd like one, and I've heard some of Donald's stuff because Donald sent me one up. It's phenomenal, absolutely great listening albums. I play mine in the car, driving up and down. It's great.
I've been very fortunate with the people that I've had with me, both producing and playing along.
Yeah. It's really fantastic. So, because I think you've got about 5 for sale on there, haven't you? Oh, there's Kenny McKenzie says he'll take 50.
He said he would take 50. He told me 100 last night.
Yeah, he's at it.
Watch him. My middle name's McKenzie. I know what they're like.
Yes,
dearie me.
What plans have we got then? Is there anything coming up soon?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I've got. You might not believe it with all this blethering I'm doing, but I have a condition. I don't know what it is. I'm shortage of breath a wee bit, you know.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's slightly overweight or what, but I'm waiting on seeing a consultant, heart consultant. I'm sure there's nothing wrong there either, but I have to wait and see. But I feel a wee bit lethargic these days, and I haven't had COVID, so it's not COVID. But we'll see. I've got a chance of doing one I cancel. I had to cancel last November for that reason, and they've asked me if I could do it this year. So hopefully I can get into focus again and do that.
Absolutely. You know, when you say about being overweight, that's one of my things as well. And I lost a pound once. I was very chuffed, and I said to my friend that I'd lost a pound, and he said that was like the Queen Mary losing a deck chair. Can you believe it?
And when I meet Mackenzie tomorrow, he'll be losing 50 pounds.
Listen, Donald, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and thanks to Kenny for coming on and helping this afternoon and getting us all rigged up, because it's just been amazing having you on, and it's just great fun, and hearing the harmonica just played in the genre that you're playing, it's fantastic. There's nobody can touch that. It's just amazing.
Well, could I say something, Peter? I've done not large volumes, but quite a few, in things, question and answer thing like this, and you're up there with the top. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very pertinent and very well done. So.
Well, I think that's what we like to try and do. Is my feeling is if everybody's relaxed and enjoying themselves, we'll get a good interview, won't we? And,
exactly.
And that's what it'll be about. But thank you so much for giving up your time to coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Have a good time to tell you about this one quickly.
Yes, go on.
Right, go for it.
We've got plenty of time. It's our show. It's our show. We can do what we want.
When you play a muthi, the first thing that happens, the nerves, if you go on, anybody that's not nervous, they're telling lies before they go on.
Yep.
You dry up. So I have fluid in this, and I dip my mouth organs in it. It is water, but I tell the audience it's the finest malt whiskey. and I say, as the evening goes on, it gets much better for me and much worse for you. Any mistakes, obvious mistakes, I'll say, told you about that bloody whiskey, didn't I? You know, so it's seriously out the hole, because salivation is your salvation. You know, there's no way out. If you go dry, you've had it.
That's been utterly brilliant. Listen, Donald, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to finish off with a set. We're going to finish off with a set of tunes for you in Germany here, and I think there's Addie Harper tunes involved with it along the way here as well. Which, as you and I were both saying earlier, one of fantastic composer, absolutely brilliant composer. But Donald, it has been an utter pleasure. You're a gentleman.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'm honoured to have been asked by you, and the way you've conducted it has just been spot on, as they say in Glasgow.
Thank you very much. Right. I hope to see you in real life before too long.
Oh God, I'm getting bigger now. You might know I'm going to be bust by then.
We'll see you soon.
All the best.
All the best, Donald.
Cheers.
Thank you.
fantastic.
I think we got the wrong track there. Never mind.
You give me the details.
That was my fault. Yeah, I will play the Eddie Harper one some other time.
No worries.
No problems. We'll play them as a special for them. In fact, we might play them next week because we've only got one guest on next week. So.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So.
Fantastic guest yet again.
That's great. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Next week, folks, we have Kirsten Henry from Shetland coming on. I've known Kirsten all her life since she was a wee lass, and she's now an instrumental instructor teaching fiddle in the schools in Shetland. So we're going to get some fantastic fiddle music next week. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
Aye, it will.
Okay. So thanks for joining us, folks, and take care, and we'll speak to you soon.
But remember, roll your Easter eggs next week.
Oh yeah, jump on and what the auction? The auction.
Auction, yes, that as well. Yes.
Remember, and have a look at the tunes if you fancy bidding for something.
Aye, a nice Easter present for somebody that's no anything.
That's it. No bother at all.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been great viewing tonight. Huge thanks to Charlie Kirkpatrick and Donald Black. And we'll speak to you soon. And see you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.